You're watching The Mic Check, on every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, everybody, welcome to The Mic Check. Tonight, we're going to ride a Harley. Okay, not necessarily physically, but we're going to do this in a style because this is really a lot more about the style of read and how we're given direction for a style of read. Because I don't know about everybody else, but when I very first started in voiceover, I was handed a piece of copy and they said to sound like somebody. Well, in my little mimicry mind, I thought that meant sound like them. So, I'm in here attempting to do impressions of David Duchovny instead of actually sounding like his style. So, this is more like not a sound like, but the style of Matthew McConaughey. Basically close to that style is where we're going with this copy.
All right.
And the Matthew McConaughey impressions begin.
Yep, went right to the toilet with it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
I've been gone for a couple of weeks.
I have a tendency to do that sort of thing myself. It's okay. So, who wants to take this piece of copy first?
Me.
Okay, Russ.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or us.
Ready?
Go for it.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that could transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. Devin.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. To Miss B.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I can't see any of you. I don't know where the whole screen went to, but let me try this.
We're all here still.
Okay, more than just a ride. When you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. Yeah. I think it's going to take me 3 or 4 shots before I hit that one.
No worries. This first read is just to get the hang of the script.
Yeah.
You don't get
just-
to criticize yourself in the booth.
You also, that's the other thing. You don't get to criticize yourself. You leave that to everybody else. You worry about your performance. So
Yeah.
go
We'll
ahead
help
and
you
select
find
who's
who
going
to-
next.
Choose somebody, dear. Who's next? Miss B?
Can you
She's
read
having a
our
hard time
names?
seeing our screens.
Oh, how about Richard?
Okay.
Leonard?
Sure.
We'll just hand it over to Richard for now.
Me and my big mouth. Okay, sure. I'll go next. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. A kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. Nathan.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. JD.
Thank you, sir. When you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. Let's see. Michael, throw it out.
All right, my turn it is. When you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. Let's see. Leonard.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. Anthony.
You are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America. That's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. Let's see. Who hasn't went yet?
I haven't.
Okay, Janet.
Okay. When you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. Is that it? Is that everybody?
Nope, we got Frankie.
Nope, Frank hasn't gone yet.
Oh,
And
Frank.
Russ.
No, Russ went first.
Russ went first.
Yeah,
Oh,
Russ
did
was
he?
first.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it's me. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when an old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure, the kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
All right, real quick on the quality side, Anthony and Janet, your guys' microphones are really low. You're probably going to need to turn the gain or sensitivity up a little bit more. A little difficulty here. You guys have Tim syndrome going on.
He's not here. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys, for carrying on in his name.
The tradition continues.
Is any better?
A little bit higher if you can.
Oh, wow.
Okay, how am I sounding here?
Much better.
There
Much
you
better.
go.
And we just had Dan join us, so it's
Hey,
his
Dan.
turn.
All right.
Wait, gotta paste in the copy. There we go. Now he can do it.
Mine's up all the way, my gain.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, it's still on the low side, but that might also be Zoom.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh, that's
Oh,
So-
wait. We had Dan, we lost Dan.
Okay. Looks like Dan's going to be a little bit in and out with this one. Oh, wait, is he back?
That was Leonard. He
That was Leonard.
dropped
Oh,
out
okay.
too.
Okay.
Let's see.
is this any
I'm
better?
sorry. I'm seeing this little dot at the
Not
very
much.
end over there appear and disappear, appear and disappear. It's like, is somebody here or not?
Yeah.
What's going on? Okay. So, interesting little script. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What is this written
Okay.
for? Is this going to be an audio only script or is this audio visual?
I believe this is television.
I think so too. I think it's 80.
Yeah. I can see some visuals here.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one I wouldn't read for if they're looking for Matthew McConaughey, because I don't have that flavor in my
Yeah.
in my voice. You know?
Well, I mean, it's more of that's the thing with this piece of copy. It's more of a style of read more than it is trying to have that voice.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, generally when they ask for a sound alike, they're not, or when they have a reference name up there, they're not necessarily asking for somebody who can sound like that person, who can mimic their exact speaking patterns. It's more about something about their presentation. So if you think of the way that Matthew McConaughey talks, you know, if you break down a little bit how he communicates, it's if you've seen some of the commercials that he's been in, he really focuses more on that like subtle, warm storyteller kind of feel. So this one's definitely going to be like with most audiovisual scripts, you're definitely not going to go full volume on it. This isn't going to be like conversational speaking one-on-one. This is going to be like into the ether, quiet storytelling sort of speaking. So the approach of when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, probably not the right style that they're looking for. The Matthew McConaughey style, at least that I imagine, goes into more of that warm, sort of quieter storytelling style. When you're
Reflective.
riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, you know, he's got that lilt where it starts low and then goes up a little bit. You know, when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, you know, that's what they're looking for more of. It's the style rather than the substance. So, and anybody can do that. So you be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, JD was saying, I thought he had a good point. It's reflective. It's
Mhm.
you're thinking about it, and boy,
Yeah.
doesn't that make you want to. And there's not a lot of descriptive words in here, which leads it to be TV. It's video in the background that's giving you the descriptions. This is giving you the feel of those descriptions, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's that thing referencing?
Yeah, so that's your goal for this script, is referencing the images on the screen. Now, it's up to you to sort of put that together how you want to. I imagine those sort of like quiet sweeping shots, you know, like maybe from a drone or from an airplane where it's like way overhead and you know you're moving really fast, but it doesn't look like you're moving really fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see this used in a lot of those kinds of shots where it's just like, where the only thing that you hear is maybe like a couple of piano notes in the background, those like, you know, high keys that sort of give it that echoey, almost etheric feel, and just the voiceover being calm, quiet, subdued, warming, storytelling kind of feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
you
this is
got-
definitely audiovisual.
Shot over and then coming down.
Yeah, you got the Grand Canyon, pieces of the Smoky Mountains, you know.
Yeah, so you're not quite one-on-one with the person in this script. So it's not like you and another person. You're not quite side by side where last week's script was really like that, if I remember correctly. It was very side by side.
Yeah.
No. I'm thinking of something else. This is more like over the shoulder. You're back here.
Yeah.
You know, you're sort of narrating the experience of what the people are going through.
Yeah, I literally picture the end of this spot when it hits that Indeed. Somebody's like sitting there watching a sunset on a beach or something along those lines. You know, they've been riding through Big Bear, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to talk about real quick. And I guess we're going to be jumping ahead towards the end of it here, but you brought it up. We're transitioning to it. So let's go ahead and talk about it, shall we? Indeed. What do we do with that Indeed? What's the intention behind that Indeed? Because I noticed it was delivered everybody had a different delivery for it. So let's talk about it. Let's try to nail down this little thing that seems to be totally unconnected. What is the intention behind saying indeed right there?
You're saying, of course it is.
Yeah, it's a punctuation.
It's more than just a ride. Yeah, indeed, it's more than just a ride.
Okay.
That's why I took it.
So you're referencing the title, basically. The title that's implicit, the more than just a ride, the one that you don't actually say out loud. So then, how do we make that last sentence there, Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed, work? What needs to connect? What's going on with it?
I put a laugh before it.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Yeah, the laugh kind of breaks you out of that storytelling mode, though.
Yeah, it kind of made it felt a little bit more along the line of sarcastic when you did that.
Well, to me, it kind of is. Like,
well,
that's kind of what it's saying. Of course.
Well, I'm thinking with my McConaughey brain going that it's sort of like you're thinking about on one great experience you had, and it's like, indeed, or something like that.
Yeah. What I really think it is almost like, at the beginning, you could start with the question, more than just a ride? Well, when you're riding a Harley, you start off with that it's almost a question out there, like you're answering it.
That would make it more of a traditional commercial. If I heard it that way,
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. The question is implicit.
Almost an explainer. I think
almost.
I think the indeed is an agreement, as in, I said it, you believe it, that settles it. I think it's me agreeing with myself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than just a ride, indeed. You're confirming that statement.
Yeah.
I think it's a confirmation of the statement.
Confirmation, that is the word.
Yeah. Got that, hey, man, you better believe it.
I get it as a warm, fuzzy mic drop.
Warm, fuzzy mic drop. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's more than just a ride, indeed. That definitely has the intention of, this vehicle, this Harley Davidson, this thing you're going to buy, because, that's obviously the ultimate point here is you're going to buy a Harley Davidson. This thing really is more than just a ride. Your money's going towards more than just the machine that you're going to sit on and hopefully not die on. This is you investing in this whole new experience with people and this whole new way of exploring America and exploring the things that are around you. So that you're right. Warm and fuzzy mic drop, a callback to the script title, to the whole purpose, which actually allows us to approach the rest of the script with a goal in mind. So if we are affirming that Harley Davidson is more than just a ride, that should help us focus on where we need to put the emphases and attention and whatnot in the rest of the story. So if we want to communicate that a Harley Davidson is more than just a ride, how are we going to do that with this script? How do you bring that out?
I think you emphasize the things in the text that are more than just a ride, like the scenery in America.
The verbs. You emphasize the verbs.
Okay. Can I get an example? Would you mind, either Russ or Miss B, if you'd mind giving me a little example of what you might be thinking of?
Just a stunning scenery in America. So I mean, that's not motorcycle riding. That's stunning scenery in America.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, when you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. So
but that starts to get salesy sounding.
If you read it, the content is trying to suggest that the Harley is a transformative motorcycle. It's better than the others. That's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. So I think therein lies the sales pitch a little bit.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree that you hit some of the verbs and some of the extra, but I wouldn't think you'd hit all of them throughout the script.
I agree.
So when you're riding a Harley in the company of your best friends, you're setting a scene. Like this needs to be taken slow. The entire script needs to be taken with intention.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like that's why it'd be good to cut volume down to maybe 2/3, get a little bit closer, maybe 1.51. For those of you who are not aware, when we use those numbers, that's your proximity to the microphone. There are 3 different zones. There's zone 2, which is your normal communication distance, which is like right around here roughly. That's where you can talk like you normally would to somebody on the street. You have zone 3, which is far back here, allowing you to be a little bit louder if need be. And then you have zone 1, which is right up on the microphone, which sounds warm. It sounds close. This script here is definitely going to be a 1 to a 1.5, pretty close to the microphone. Does anybody disagree with that? Does it sound differently to anybody?
Is this a "Don't Wake the Baby," as Mark Cashman would say?
Yeah, something along those lines.
I think a "Don't Wake the Baby" read would be pretty appropriate here, unless somebody sees it differently, and in which case, I'd love to hear it. But I feel pretty confident in saying that this is pretty much a zone 1.5 read, a "Don't Wake the Baby," try to keep it down kind of read.
Yeah, I see it as a relaxed drawl, but certainly not a whisper.
Yeah.
I will add this, and when if you have a natural Southern dialect, feel free to use it with this because it will work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing for sure in here, I don't know if we've gone line by line or what we're doing exactly, but when it says "that's when a regular old ride," that should be said faster than the rest of it. Not real fast, but because we're slowing down and everything. That's one point where you can go ahead and say that's when a regular old ride turns into I think the dichotomy of the slow and then the fast and then slow sounds good there to me.
You could. I could also see it taken as a even paced all throughout. Like I don't necessarily think that a pace change would be necessary there. It'd definitely be more of a pitch and tone change. That's when a regular old ride, you could take that a little bit slower and sort of make it seem like, a regular old ride is not necessarily a bad thing here. The whole idea is not like, you started off in a bad situation and now you're moving into a better situation because of the product. The product is whatever your experience was before, this is going to radically change it.
Yeah.
But they're always wanting you to speed up and slow down a little bit here and there so it doesn't sound the same over and over. And I'm saying that's a good spot to take advantage of, some of that rather than just doing the same pace the whole time.
Right. And I can see that. I could see where you would add that. I'm also going to just make a point where it could be possible for you to not have to do that either.
Yeah.
That's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure, the kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. That's where you're talking about, where we're going to. Yeah, we're not going line by line with this one because it's so short. This is definitely more of just, getting into the right mindset for specifically, for whatever read you're going to do. I'm going to let the line by line stuff be up to your own personal interpretations because that's part of your own branding too, is how you approach every script. But yeah, this definitely is going to require us to take it at a slower, warmer storytelling kind of pace.
Yeah, and I literally picture the length of this script because of the length of it. The way they would add this into the commercial to give it the right time for television would be to break it up. And
they probably would.
They would take that read at the pace that you're reading it at, and then the, guy editing the thing together would split everything off on his own,
Especially if it's the McConaughey read. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. You sound good.
You know how it says when you are writing?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's absolutely fine to say when you're.
Yes.
It is absolutely. That is one time when adjusting that's perfectly fine.
I'd even go so far as to say ride in without the G in the end.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise you come off sounding like Data trying to read this thing.
When you are riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, we don't want to over enunciate everything.
When you are riding a Harley with Captain Picard.
And an English gentleman.
Russ, what were we going to say?
At the end too, we got another one. The kinda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the word life is the key word there. They can transform your life.
I guarantee you directors are going to be absolutely okay with that because it makes the script sound more human.
Your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More what they're asking for too in the
Right. Yeah. And on top of that, this is just written really awkwardly in general. Like the first sentence doesn't actually end properly.
That's true.
It's written really weird, which is another indication that this is for TV and not radio. Fun fact.
Yes.
Good point.
So anyway, does anybody have any other questions or anything they'd like to focus on a little bit more analysis-wise in the script? Or does everybody have a really good, a decent idea of what it is we'll be focusing on?
Only we got a handle on it.
Okay. So just as a brief overview, this is going to be more of a quiet, thoughtful storytelling style of read where you're just trying to pull people into the experience mostly. There's a reference callback sort of thing at the very end to make sure that you make the point that Harley Davidson is more than just a motorcycle. It's a whole new experience. And I think that's a pretty good summation of what it is we're going for. Thankfully, since it's short, there's not a whole lot to break down here. So if we don't have any other questions or any other comments or anything like that, why don't we go ahead and get back into it?
Okay, the list is in the chat. It should be in the proper order, and Dan's listed if he ever bothers to show back up.
Well, while we wait for him, Russ, go for it.
Hey, I was wondering, JD, I didn't hear you say anything about the laugh before Indeed. Did it break character for you, or did you think?
Honestly, it kind of made me feel like you were almost scoffing at everything that came before, like you didn't believe what you just said.
Okay.
It did. It broke character a little bit.
All right, cool. I'll take it out then. Thank you.
Okay.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Okay, what did everybody think?
I like that. I like that better than his first read. I like the intonation a lot more.
Yeah, he may need to slow it down just a touch.
That's the only comment I had was just
a little bit rushed.
Yep. Read it like you were reading it, but
Or that.
not quite that slow.
I thought I was going too slow. Okay.
No, it just needs to be. It sounded less relaxed than it should, and I mean,
Okay.
you're the guy who owns this Harley. You love this thing,
I do.
and like the direction says up there, passion for the product.
You're falling asleep as you're entering Nirvana.
Okay.
Hey man, you love your bike, man.
That's a different kind of bike. Ready? When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
All right.
It felt like it started a little fast, but I really liked your last sentence there. The Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. I felt you really nailed that.
Still kind of fast, really?
Did anybody else agree with that? Did anybody else feel it was still a little kind of fast?
Just a little, I'll call it that too.
Maybe a tiny bit, but I really, it felt like it was. It maybe felt a little faster, but it felt like it was at a good pace. I liked it. I was along for the ride.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, if the pacing was a little quick,
Unintended.
it was just a hair. But I thought I'm kind of like you, JD. I thought the overall feel of it was kind
Connect.
of what they're intending. It was connected with the machine and everything that goes with it.
Yeah, I want to be connected, please.
Specifically, I really got the McConaughey feel that time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you were going to take another take, that would just be a safety take. I think all in all, that was a really, really solid read altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good pacing. It was good storytelling. Just like I said, in general, just a really solid read. Since it's not even 5 yet, and we got a short script, why don't you go ahead and give us one more take?
All right.
Give it like a hair's breadth slower,
Okay.
and that'll just be a safety take for us.
Yeah, this one seems to be in my wheelhouse, as they say. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
All right. Thank you very much for the safety take.
All right.
All right. Who's up next? Let's see.
Devin.
Up next is Devin.
Miss Devin.
All right. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure, the kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
This is going to be really weird for me to say, but I don't think it was monotone enough. I think it was a little too expressive.
Yeah, there was a huge smile in that one. I could hear it.
There were levels.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Your pacing was great. The storytelling was really good. It was extremely close, but you had this lilt that you pulled out on some words, like travel.
So boring.
I know, but here's the thing. This is supposed to be that subdued storytelling, sort of over the shoulder feel. It's supposed to be just enough to bring somebody into it, but not too much to be the star of the show. Remember, when it comes to audio visual, when it comes to TV commercials and video commercials, you're the voice under. You're not taking center stage. You're second to the visuals, to what's going on screen. So if you're a little bit more monotone, that would be perfect.
Yeah,
I think it would be absolutely perfect. Change nothing else about your read, just a little less expressive on some of those words.
It's almost like the audience is sneaking in on us, and we don't even know it because we're enjoying this ourselves, like a confirmation of, boy, am I glad I got this bike, man.
Yeah, your bike's the star of the show.
So you're talking to yourself, kind of?
That's how and the audience is lucky enough to hear the inner thoughts.
Yeah, I think it is kind of inner thoughts. But I tell you, Devin, at the end where you said more than just a ride, indeed, both of those sounded like questions.
Okay.
They didn't sound like statements. You're like, more than just a ride, indeed, sort of thing.
All right. Let's try it again. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure, the kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing a telling of a ghost story. It sounds spooky to me.
Yeah. So
McConaughey does sound creepy, though.
I
sometimes he
know.
does.
I was like, like
Sometimes he
this
does.
is such a good challenge.
Well, the funny thing is that was a little too far. I should have mentioned that yeah, this isn't like full on monotone. I just said a little bit more monotone. Bring your highs a little bit farther down, and try to close your highs and lows a little bit closer together is what I meant to say. So you can still have some of that expression. Just don't. There's a certain hallway that you want to try to stay within. There's a ceiling and there's a floor when it comes to your tone and your expressions. And when it comes to the storytelling, you can have some of that, but you don't want to get too high and you don't want to get too low. You want to stay a little closer in the middle. There's still some wiggle room for you to move up and down, but you don't want to move up and down too much. Yeah, that I should have been a little bit clearer on my description, but hey, now that we've had the extreme push to the opposite direction, let's bring it back up a little bit, shall we?
Hey,
Yeah,
Mike.
I have one quick note there. I think it would be, correct me if this is just me interpreting it my way and her way's fine. I feel like it would be improved a little bit if you hit the words stunning, extraordinary, unforgettable, just a touch more.
The adjectives.
I'm thinking, Mike, tell me if I'm wrong, but this should be read differently as a male and a female, because they think differently. When you're talking about very best friends, it means something different to a guy than it does to a girl, in a way.
In general, let's see.
Because it comes across as kind of fake when a girl reads it as a guy thinks.
Yes. But again, this is there's still a storytelling tone that can be taken, both ways. I can see what you mean, that maybe, not 100% of the directions that we're going to give are going to fit, but you'd be surprised at how interchangeable a lot of these things really are. Now, I guarantee you that a man would be hired to voice this specifically because Harley Davidsons have always been marketed more towards men than women. Not saying that there aren't a bunch of female fans of Harley Davidsons out there, but it's just that traditionally the marketing has usually strayed more male. Now,
maybe that's why I'm thinking it's different between male and female, because if it's a female, they're going for a whole new market kind of thing.
Yeah, but the same kind of delivery, I fully believe and I feel would really work regardless of who you have reading it. Okay. Like, this is definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure, what you mean with how very best friends would be different for men and women.
Well, because sometimes girls are like, those are my very best girlfriends, but they're my BSFs or whatever they say. Girls just think along those terms when guys think,
well,
most of my best friends are guys, though.
When you look at a lot of the marketing, because there is a lot of writing specifically for male and female audiences. A lot of the times when it comes to marketing for more female audiences, it's a very soft sell. It's less, buy, and this is how it can change your life, and more of, hey, take a look at how this has transformed things. It's a different kind of sales approach that they'll use depending on the market that they're going for. Generally, female audiences tend to react differently towards more emotional scenes and more emotional imagery and the like than a typically male audience does. And this was from some marketing research and stuff that I've done in the past, that usually, like, okay, here's a good example. Everybody's seen the Old Spice commercials, right? Where they first had the I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
Like Isaiah something. No, was it Isaiah? Or
Punk on a horse.
Yeah. That guy. I'm on a horse. Yeah. That guy. His entire marketing actually was more female oriented. It was still all funny, but it was more female oriented. Where Terry Crews was a lot more male oriented. It's the same product and it's the same style of.
That's an excellent observation, Michael.
Yeah, it's the same style, same product, technically it's the same demographic, but the two different actors that they used and the directions that they gave them were directed towards two specific audiences. So that is sort of an example of the differences between marketing more towards female audiences and marketing more towards male audiences. A lot of that has changed up now, but some of the same things that or some of the same concepts are still in use. So I think that's more of what he was referencing is like if you were going to talk very best friends, a lot of the times it would be a little bit more warmer, a little bit brighter if you were going for, if you were targeting it towards a female audience rather than a male audience, which is, people just say, for most guys, whoever they hang out with, yeah, that's probably my best friend. I don't know. We're buddies. We interact. It doesn't go beyond that. But anyway, rant over. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
You go ahead. You can, like I said before, you're more than welcome to express a little bit more. I should have been clearer. Your pacing and the storytelling is still great. It's just the inflections need to stay within a certain range. And that's really difficult to explain. That's the hard part.
I may not be giving you that, but I understand.
Well, I mean, if you got it, go for it. Give it your best try. Just go for it. I'll stop talking.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
What everybody think?
I like that better, but I didn't like Indeed.
Yep, there's still a question mark after Indeed.
So just for that last sentence, Harley Davidson, go up on more than just a ride. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. End it off on a down note.
Indeed.
And
that
can transform your life. It's not your life, it's your life. I think. Your is not the operative word.
By the way, in case everybody wants to know, it's Isaiah Mustafa.
That's it.
The original Old Spice guy.
That's it.
Okay, not the original, but.
Wait. Okay, so then, transform your life. Life is operative word at the very end of that last sentence, that second to last sentence. And at the end, Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. Make sure that you end off on a down note.
You know what? You got a good point there. Maybe more than just a ride is a question. And the answer is indeed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that from what we were talking about earlier.
Well, again, I left the particulars up to you, but that was something I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's another way you can go with it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, give us one more read.
All right.
I'm sorry. Did you want to double check on anything? Did you have any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
Now then.
Okay.
You got this.
A Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America. That's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
All right, I liked it. What did everybody else think?
Yeah, I think she nailed it on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry about the
That
phone.
was the money take.
How did that feel for you, though? What was your experience giving that delivery?
Oh, it felt better that time.
Okay. Did things feel like they fit more into place for you?
Yeah, because when I try to do these kind of reads, I sometimes feel like I'm trying to hold myself back, and then it just feels fake. And then when I let myself go, then it's too much, and it's just so hard to get that.
I hear you.
Yeah. That fine tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's up to you to sort of define that like upper limit of expression and that lower limit of expression and try to stay within those lines. Because when you break out of that, it's a little jarring. That last read, you stayed right within them perfectly. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could have been slightly more expressive, but all in all, that was a really fantastically solid read, and definitely a read we haven't gotten from you before, I think.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, no, thank
I'll
you.
work on more of those.
Yeah, give more of them a try.
I would
Alrighty then.
suggest taking this piece of copy and just playing with it and you know, just work with it and play with it every once in a while when you're doing your own practice, you know?
Yeah. Thank you.
Stretches you, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like being here.
All right, Miss B,
Who's up?
you're
All
up.
righty. Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Wow, really good.
Yeah.
What did everybody else think?
Yeah, she took some direction.
Slipped into a southern accent, but I wanted to hear it throughout. I liked it. Started at the beginning and do the southern thing throughout. It worked.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, that was beautiful.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Born in Alabama, live in Georgia. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Use it.
Oh my.
Typecasting, no fair. Typecasting.
Hey, well, like I said, you know, feel free to throw your accent into it, you know, because it works well with that sort of thing, you know.
You know what, Miss B, what you just said, that sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. I think that's something you should work on, being able to control there, and that will help you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because with the decisions that you made with that read were spot on, in my opinion. That was a super solid read. I legitimately don't have any corrections or critique or anything like that I'd like to hear. I think that was fantastic.
I think a lot of it's because she got closer to the microphone too.
Yeah.
Yep. She did a zone 1 read. That was definitely what this thing calls for.
I'm slobbering all over it.
That's okay. Slobber the love on the microphone. It only comes through on the commercial and just
He's
makes it sound.
mopping that pop filter off while she's
Although, let's see. I loved the I love that little hint of a smile you had all the way through it. It wasn't like super prominent, but it was there, and it made it feel a little bit more nostalgic, like you were thinking back on the rides you might have had before in the past on your Harley or whatnot. You know, it gave it that more personal feel, and that really added to your read. The pacing was perfect. You had a nice even pace all throughout. There weren't any major slowdowns or pickups or anything like that. All in all, that was just a really solid read. I mean, that's what's that bit of direction that that Phil would say, or that thing that he liked to say? It was a healthy take. Is that it?
Yeah. What was it? Oh goodness, I remember Richard Horvitz saying it before. Yeah, healthy take.
And I think that was a really healthy take. That would have been
a
like,
healthy take.
Yeah, that was really good.
There's a good take, then there's a healthy take.
There's
a healthy take.
So maybe one more where you can decide either you're going to be Southern or you're not.
Now, how Southern y'all want me to be?
You know what? Lay it on. Give it to us. You did your really solid read already. Time to have a little bit of fun with it. Let's really get Southern with it. Go for it.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Sounded like a Southern May West.
Wow, I love that. That was
I loved
awesome.
it. I loved it.
There's an old reference.
I'm the same height as May West.
Getting deep was the best part for sure.
I loved
That
it.
was fun. I liked it.
That was great.
And that's legitimately a read you could send as a second take.
That's
Like
true.
if you wanted to if you wanted to send in like multiple reads in an audition, I would say lean into that. That was awesome.
You never
Okay.
know.
Yeah, you never know.
And your first
They
take.
might hear something in that second read. You know, you give them what they want in the beginning, and then you
Mhm.
get what you want, and show them what you can do.
Hey, I've seen producers take both reads, marry them together. Oh, yes.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Let's
My
see.
turn.
Richard, you're up.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through some of the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Okay. What did everybody think?
I love you, Richard, but there was too much wrath.
Too much trouble. I didn't know if you'd been on a bike along
Gotta
and eaten a lot of bugs.
smoother, my friend.
It sounded like if my great grandfather had rode a Harley.
Clifford Brimley's brother.
Stop the smoking and ride.
Richard wants to be the next Marlboro man.
Yeah, I'm just like picturing my great grandfather. Come on, May, let's go.
All right, I'll take the gravel out.
I think that
What, he ate one too many bugs, huh? Well,
Mm.
there wasn't much variation in the pacing either.
That guy's been riding a Harley since he got back from Nam, and he hasn't stopped.
But he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
oh, we have the bumblebees go by on the weekends, and Jiminy Christmas, there's been as many as 40 of them or so in a deal, and you look out there and go, that's a lot of gray ponytails.
You know what it is, Richard, is you already got rasp in your voice. You don't need to add.
I don't need to add to it. I will
Nah.
do that.
You mean you will not do that?
Yeah, I will not. I will do what he said not to do. Is that? You got me
Do what he said
I
not
hope
to
you're happy.
People
All right,
don't
go
not
for
do
it.
it.
Go for it.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through some of the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
No,
All
it's
right.
better.
Again.
I thought it was better.
I
Yep,
think your
definitely
throat
better.
closed up on the last line. It sounded like you strained to say Harley Davidson.
Okay.
Oh,
You
But
tried
the
to
rest,
grab-
I mean, but you were open. The rest of it,
It was better on the rest of it.
I like it.
Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
I think it was a little too fast
Yeah.
altogether.
a little bit. Yeah.
I think you could have
Okay.
slowed down a little bit more. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, with this next read, go ahead and slow it down a little bit more and really let the imagery sort of soak.
Okay.
What about his accent, Mike? Do you think it sounds real?
The
I
the
mean,
accent,
I didn't know it was doing much of one. It's kind of up here, I guess. So,
I'm sorry, I've
the
listened to
Idaho
Richard.
twang, sorry.
Yeah, I had a one-on-one with Richard a little while back, so like I don't really notice the accent much. To be totally honest. But
The gravel buried the
the-
accent.
what I did notice, one of the things that I did notice is that some R's you hit and some R's you didn't, and that's
Okay.
a big place where an accent is prevalent, is on R's. So
Okay.
I don't know. Let's hear it one more time. Just go ahead and slow it down.
Okay.
And do what you did before, but just slow it down slightly, and let's see if we can catch some specifics.
when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, well, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Careful of dropping too low at the very end. I can tell you were really hitting bottom there at the end there.
Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah.
I think with the slowdown, the accent was much more consistent this time, more natural read sound.
It was more
so
me.
It was more you, Richard. You were more you this time. Congratulations.
I don't do me well.
You did a really good job of you there.
Thanks, Leonard.
That's why I love practicing commercial stuff, because you know what? I'm a character actor and it's hard doing me.
Russ, what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
That's always the direction. More Richard, anytime you go for a workout, you hear that at least once.
Yeah.
More you.
I know. Okay. What do we need to do?
Actually, in that one, the only issue that I had was it felt like you were dropping too far at the very end, and you took a little pickup take, which I think would be totally acceptable to slice in instead.
Yep.
Okay.
All in all, once again, a really solid read that time. The slowing of the pace cleared up any potential sounds of an accent. It really cleaned up your read, and it really cleared up what you were going to or what you were going for. All in all, fantastic read in my opinion. Does anybody else have a differing opinion? So maybe some changes they'd like to see or hear?
Agreed. It was a good read.
Yep, very good.
Yay.
All right. Well, congratulations, Richard. You done it.
Yay. And I even said all the words. Yay me.
Yeah, and you said all the words without ad-libbing any with this time. The last time you did.
Yeah. Oh,
well, anyway, speaking of challenging yourself to be more of yourself, Nathan, you're up.
Okay.
Nathan's gone so many directions, he's forgotten who Nathan is.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride? Indeed.
Okay. Again, at the beginning, we had a little bit of what Richard had. There was this sort of hint of an accent or an accent popping up that dropped for the rest of the read.
Yeah.
That was the only clash that I really heard. I felt you could have also slowed it down a little bit.
Okay.
I think it was just a touch too quick. Again, we're trying to let the imagery stew in somebody's mind.
Can you maybe read into the microphone more?
Okay.
And the word regular, you probably felt it, but it completely screwed up the word regular. I don't know what.
Like zone
Almost
one.
like you said another word.
Yeah, I mashed my words together. I caught myself doing that. No criticism of myself. I just know I mashed my words together. I'm like, oh, smash. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride? Indeed.
Okay. What did everybody think of that one?
Sounded like you questioned more than just a ride at the end.
I did.
Okay.
On purpose.
Okay.
I like that. I think that's the correct interpretation to me. but you're still got that weird character coming on in the beginning. It wasn't as strong as it was in the last read, but I think you're trying to imitate Matthew McConaughey, kind of.
Oh man, it
See,
did
there's
get
a
in my
reason why
head.
he created the YouTube channel inside his head. It's because he's trying to figure out what's going on in there.
It was in there. It was.
But no, I agree, and it really came out when you said "your,"
Okay.
because you dragged
Yeah.
out that vowel like normally "your."
Your. Yeah.
When you're riding a Harley, like when you hit that word the same way multiple times as well, it sounds like if again, whatever choice you make, just stick with it. If an
Okay.
accent feels more natural, try it with the accent.
I'm gonna break this thing just by doing something different.
Pattern break
And
time.
yeah. I'm going to destroy this pattern.
Okay.
I wanted to point something out real quick. When you started and you stopped and you started again, a lot of people are just saying when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, you stopped and your natural instinct put a comma after Harley, and I think it goes there.
Okay.
And I think everybody should, I mean, however you want to interpret it, but when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, instead of just, it sounds okay with all the way through, but you naturally corrected and put that comment. So
I think the original copy had that comma in it, and I remembered it from transcribing it. So I probably just automatically did that, which is really unusual for me because usually I forget punctuation. So, yay, I did something different. Okay. Let me break this thing. When you ride a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Okay, now go.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride? Indeed.
I think it worked.
I think your pattern break had you starting your second read at a faster pace than it should, but then you slowed down and it became really good.
Okay.
That's a good natural instinct you had.
You slipped into your Liverpool with the word extraordinary.
I did, didn't I?
It's extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
And you need to decide if you're going to be John or if you're going to be Ringo.
Okay, I'll try my best not to do that again. Let's do another take. There we go. John and Ringo. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, when you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride? Indeed.
So in your pickup, when you decided to add that comma after Harley, you punched in so hard afterwards, it was a little jarring.
Okay.
And same thing at the end. Indeed, you punched indeed. You like laid the rest of your weight on it. I could tell that's where you that's where your finish line was in your head, because that's where you just let it all go.
Okay.
Remember, your finish line is long after the last period has been read on the screen. You're acting all the way through it. So give us another read, slow it down a touch, and try not to punch those connecting words.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Much better that time around. Much better that time around.
Yeah, I read in my head, indeed it is. So it just kind of helped me.
There you go. There you go.
I love the micro pause you're putting after the kinda. Or the kind of. I got kind on my script. The kind of. Unforget. Yeah, I like that. That sounded really
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, there you go.
One day
Nobody
I'm
has
going to
anything else
own
to
a
say,
Harley, so I might as well act like I'm owning it now.
That sounded a lot different from the first read. You should go back and compare those two.
Yeah. All right, JD, it's time for you to wow us.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Great. Now I'm supposed to follow that up?
I'm hearing the dude abides. I mean, that's good.
No, that was really solid. Let's
Yes.
see. Pacing was really good. Imagery was hit properly. Your tone didn't go too your expressions didn't go too far or were pushed too low. All in all, I don't have anything else to say. Does anybody else have anything?
I can see the guy riding on a cycle out, and there's a helicopter that's taking pictures from down below of him going around through all the great scenery, mountains and deserts, and it was a nice ride. Thanks, JD. I enjoyed it.
My pleasure.
I think the accent went a little too far on America because you're like America.
America.
Like you go too far.
Somewhere in there, I felt a choke, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Far back in the wood.
Probably there.
He didn't completely George Bush it, but it really came close.
I have a sinus.
I guess the only other like nitpicky thing that I have is your voice crackled a little bit more than I would have liked to hear on Harley Davidson. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if you felt you were pushing yourself a little too far. That's
Harley.
another little thing.
Mhm.
It's minor though. If you wanted to give it one more take where you cleaned up America and Harley Davidson, I think you'd be done.
Yeah, for me, it needed just a little bit more energy.
A little bit more energy. Okay.
A little bit more.
Like
yeah.
more energy. Aha.
Yeah, because I felt like he was in the sidecar while somebody else was riding the Harley.
Well, let me see if I can throw more energy in that and keep the throat a little bit clearer.
Just got to get on the bike and clean up America.
Probably going to give it a little touch more speed then. Let's see.
Yeah.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride. Indeed.
Yeah.
A lot of mouth noise, but was that better, Miss B?
I didn't hear any mouth noise. I heard a good read.
Okay.
It was, for me, it was better. Whenever I say that, I always think about Jimmy Stewart. He said that Capra rarely gave him a direction, and usually when he'd come up, he'd say, I needed just a little bit more energy, just a little bit more energy. And he said, because at the end of the day, he would slow and slower until those last takes, he'd be stuttering.
Yeah, of course, Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, I love Jimmy Stewart. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. the kind of the unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride. Indeed.
All right. Well,
I love Jimmy. He met Jimmy one time. It was fun.
all right. So we still got quite a few people to go through. So let's go ahead and move on.
Oh, that was
I just
funny.
want to say, real quick,
Sorry.
I think the
It
second
was good, JD.
was good, but whatever accent you were going for, or the good old boy feel, I think it wasn't as deep the second time. It was more. It was
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Okay.
Because I was trying to bring up the energy a little bit.
Okay, I just wanted you to realize that.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. My turn.
Okay.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
You know what I just realized I like about you is your ability. You're trademarked. Your voice. You have a delivery that's different all the time, but you can tell it's you.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like when you hear a Journey song, it's Journey. They have a lot of different songs that sound a lot different, and they're really good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
come to think of it.
Well, I mean, I've spent a lot of money on training. I'm hoping I'm getting that down.
You have a good signature read.
Yeah. It's like a dreamlike quality to that
Yeah.
read, to your read.
Yeah.
If I had anything to say, is like you hit Harley Davidson a tiny bit hard. That's all.
Okay.
You opened your throat and you hit Harley Davidson. But
I think Indeed sounded a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Indeed, could have been a little more like you really believed it, not like, okay, we're at the end.
Yeah.
But only on that one word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got Indeed. I think you got to make a decision and just go with it.
Yeah.
And whatever way you decide, it can't just be Indeed.
You just picture yourself on that motorcycle riding through Big Bear. Just you and your wife.
All right. Let me give it another go then.
Oh, man.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, you believed that one.
Okay.
Why don't you give us a crazy one real quick?
Oh, yeah.
A crazy one.
Go for it, dude.
Well, I would love to. I just noticed the time though, and we still got quite a few people to go through. So,
yeah.
If we have some time afterwards, sure, I'll go for it.
Okay.
But for now, let's go ahead and move on to Leonard.
When you're riding a Harley in the company with you, starting over. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
So one of the few things that I really didn't like about that was, wow, that came out really bad.
Okay.
Let me start by saying this. I actually liked the read overall. That's what I meant to say. There's only a few things. There's only a few things. Not like there's a lot. There's just very few. Just so that's clear. I'm sorry. I realized that sounded differently in my head. It's one of those. It's you hit Harley really hard at the very beginning. And that was a little bit odd. I think you could have softened that up a little bit. when you're riding a Harley, like you're going to clarify that later on, so you don't have to necessarily billboard it right at the very beginning. So just smooth that out right back into the read. Your pacing was awesome. It's beautiful. I think that was a great storytelling pacing. Your tone was really good. Um, Again, at the end, you seem to billboard Harley Davidson a little bit more. When it comes to this style of read, if you really want to get more of if you want people to pay attention to um, uh, the, uh, the product a little bit more, slow it down, give it some space, leave more pauses around it. That would be a good way to do it. And those really are the only two things that I would say. Keep the same tone, keep the same pace, pull off of Harley Davidson just a little bit, and let it flow into everything else you're saying. If you want to billboard it, you put it out there and you let it sit for a second. Let it stew.
Okay.
I felt like after America, the first sentence, you really got into it and it sounded great, but it didn't seem like you were into it in the beginning with whatever you were working towards that was working after that. So I don't know. If you might want to say the tagline first to get yourself into it, or some lead in. Or,
Yeah, the read did get better as you went. So it was just that start of it, was a little off, and then you kind of built into it. And I thought it was a whole lot better.
Okay. Take two. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride, indeed.
I like the way you're putting your life and still hitting life. That sounds cool. The more than just a ride sounded a little odd, but the overall is really good, I thought.
There was an Americana feel to that for some reason, and Harley is an American bike. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it had a really good even pacing, and you had a little more emotion in your in the words and the tone of the script, and I thought it worked. Took direction well this time. That was pretty well.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you might have a little niche with stuff like this.
Yeah, I think storytelling in general is where I'm sort of headed.
Well, you can really apply that to a lot of other places, but that was, it was really good.
Thank you.
All right. Any suggestions maybe for a third take, or you think it was pretty solid?
I think it's pretty solid.
That was pretty good.
Yep, it was good.
All right, cool. Way to go, Leonard. Good job. Let's see. Next up is Anthony.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Okay, opening it up. What did everybody think?
A little fast.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, your Indeed sounded like it lost energy.
Okay. I felt like I'm trying to be transformed into a dream state or something. Like stunning scenery in America. No, I'm exaggerating.
Watch the watch.
Yeah, I thought it needed just a little more emotion because it only moved like this. It didn't go a whole lot. So don't be afraid to add a little more to it.
Yeah.
And your pacing, yeah, everybody said that. So
yeah, it sounded a little matter of fact to me.
Yeah, if you're able
I wasn't sure you really believed it.
Almost boring. Almost.
If you're able to add a little bit of body language to it, like you're pointing at the scenery, most stunning scenery in America. You're painting a picture here. You know, you're helping that scenery that's flying across the screen. So you're pointing to that. So just add a little bit of body language to it. That'll help that energy.
Okay. Go again?
Yes, please.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
All right. That indeed was a little bit more dismissive, I feel, than
Okay.
it was confirmative.
Yeah. Just kind of.
Indeed. No, indeed.
You're
Like,
shrugging
you're-
your shoulders on it.
Yeah. So the whole sentence is this affirmation, more than just a ride, indeed. Like, you know, and that's sort of the subtext of it is that ending there is you're confirming, yes, more than just a ride.
What if we made indeed like 2 words, like indeed?
I think that might be a little too drawn out for what's going on here.
Okay.
I think it might be a little that might come off as sarcastic.
Yeah.
You can do it, but you'd have to change the whole rest of the read too.
Right.
I thought the pacing was good up through scenery in America, and then it's like you poured the gas to it.
Yeah, you were trying to get to the end
Take
as
off.
fast as you could.
Yeah, you were doing good up through scenery in America. That's when a regular old ride turns into it. You just all of a sudden, for some reason, you goosed it. I don't know why.
But I felt I could believe that you believed it this time. So that was much better in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your storytelling tone here is actually quite good. It's the pacing that throws it off.
Okay.
You started off a little quicker than I would have liked to hear. Like you're walking at like a medium fast pace. You want to slow it down. You want to savor the details of the sidewalk as you're walking by it. So slow down your pace altogether too. Remember, all of these little things are going to fall into line when you slow it down a little bit more. You'll make the comparisons better. It'll naturally happen as you intentionally focus on slowing down your speech. Your inflection, your sound, everything else like that, I wouldn't change it. You're doing good on that. It's just when you slow yourself down, you're going to hit those descriptive words and you're going to hit those more major story points a little bit better. So just watch the pacing and make sure that it's consistent all throughout and that it's slightly slower than you're normally used to.
Okay, slower.
Yeah, slower.
And from my point of view, you did get out of the dreamy feel.
Yeah, I think slowing down might help him get back into that, but let's see. So go ahead, let's give us another read, and then we'll adjust from there.
When you're riding a Harley in the companion, starting over. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Again, the indeed at the very end was really dismissive, but all in all, that was a much better read.
Okay.
Indeed, that needs to be that sort of mic drop moment. That's the affirmation.
Yeah.
Flip your emphasis. You said indeed. Just make it indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah, there you go. Indeed.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say just repeat that last line a couple times.
Okay. So just
the Harley Davidson to indeed.
Harley Davidson. More than just a ride. Indeed.
Go ahead and give us two more. Just give us
two more? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Okay, you're now breaking the pace and pattern that you had established before. Remember,
Okay.
slow it down. Slow it
Slow
down.
down. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
Okay. With
Harley
that one,
Davidson is the question.
yeah, Harley Davidson was the question. More than just a
Oh.
ride was a statement, and indeed was a statement. I felt it would Harley Davidson is a statement. More than just a ride is sort of moving into that question, and then indeed is the statement.
Got
Harley
it.
Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed. You know, a little bit more like that. Just
Okay.
give us one of those.
Gotcha. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed.
There you go. There you go. That fit with the rest of your pacing. That would have been a good replacement. Where the secession, like we just cut that in, you'd be good.
Oh.
All in all, though, I think that tone that you took for storytelling was pretty good. There were a few minor things that I would have readjusted, but all in all, it was really, really solid. I really don't want to tweak it a whole heck of a lot and start confusing that read much more. So,
Thank you.
generally, good on you.
Oh,
Yeah, there was
Does
good
anybody else have
progress.
any like input or
Much
feedback
better.
for him?
Yeah,
Much
there
better.
was good progress, is what I think is what.
Yeah.
And that's as much as he needs to go before getting more input, because it's true.
Yeah. After after doing this for a while, I realized that sometimes it can feel like drinking from a fire hose. A lot of people will chime in with this and that and the other. I'm not saying that we're just sort of settling for a read. That was a really good read and is much better
okay.
than many other people would have given. So, there's no like subtext to that. It's just,
I was
once you
reading
start getting people talking, sometimes they don't shut up and we got to move on.
True.
Yeah. So up next is Janet.
Okay. When you're riding a sorry. When you're riding, I'm saying riding.
That's fine. Go for it.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
I like that.
Yeah, I liked that a
Yeah.
lot. You're really close, just a little too quick. Slow down on this next one.
Yeah, I liked it overall. There's just one nitpicky little thing. You went most stunning scenery, and I think most stunning scenery, emphasizing more the stunning than the scenery would have
Okay.
might be a little better.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride. Indeed. I did that one differently.
Well, the thing is that the pacing was exactly the same. Like you hit the scenery better, you hit stunning scenery better, and it was still a really solid read, but it was just as fast as the previous one. You
Okay.
didn't slow it down at all.
All right, I'll do one more
Yeah.
I'll do it slow.
Yeah.
I've liked both of your reads, though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you hit your instead of life on the last sentence too.
Okay, hit your
No, that's what you did.
Okay. The last sentence. Okay. Wait, what did I do? I'm sorry. What did I?
You said transform your life instead of transform your life.
Oh,
so you hit your.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. When you're riding a Harley Davidson, I'll just do my own thing. Sorry. Hold on. Okay.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay,
You're
go
still going at the same speed.
Okay.
When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends, you like take intentional steps through the whole thing.
Okay. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson, more than just a ride, indeed.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Ah, yes.
There we go. That was it.
Healthy take.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was the money read. That was
there
it.
we go. JD and I were both bobbing our heads at the
That's
same
a
time,
keeper.
going, "That was yours."
Good, thank you. Good, okay. We can move on.
That's okay. I don't think anybody really has much to say.
I was actually just, I was over there just like doing this metronome thing as you were reading, and that pacing was just like spot on. So,
All right. Frank, you are up.
I got to follow that now. Thank
Yeah.
Oh, Frank. Come on.
you. Ah, that voice. I tell you. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
All right. What did everybody think of that one?
I just love Frank's voice. But Frank sounded stunning.
It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounded that one word.
Which one?
Stunning.
Stunning. Oh.
Stunning scenery.
I
Yeah,
feel
okay.
that the accent was a little pushed.
Okay.
Your voice is so good anyway. It doesn't seem like you really need an accent.
Okay.
Although you got to pretend to be an American for this one. Most of the other ones you can slip by. But.
Yeah, you international guys, you're always trying to steal our accents.
Well, it doesn't.
Yes,
work
what's the deal with all these people stealing our accents? Oh.
Okay, then.
Alrighty then.
So,
one more nitpicky thing. When you said extraordinary adventure, you went really high in your emphasis there. Extraordinary adventure. It almost sounded like you were going into a movie trailer feel right at that point. Again, with this kind of script, the best.
done on purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say with the delivery that you had earlier, to stick with the same tone, just slow those down, make those, intentional. Extraordinary adventure. I think that would probably be a little bit, at least, more aesthetically pleasing choice, in my opinion.
Okay. I was just, so every sentence didn't end on a down note. I was just trying to, change it.
Well, in this case, that's actually not all that much of a bad thing.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So go for it.
All right. I'll try it again. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America. Nah, I don't like that. Let me start again. When you're riding a Harley in the company of your very best friends and traveling through the most stunning scenery in America, that's when a regular old ride turns into an extraordinary adventure. The kind of unforgettable experience that can transform your life. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Just end indeed down. Just give me an indeed with just down note. Indeed. Just
indeed.
As
more than just a ride? Indeed.
Indeed. Let's see. What am I looking for with that one? Yeah, make that the mic drop. Like, yeah, indeed.
Indeed. Harley Davidson. More than just a ride? Indeed.
Okay. Well, what did everybody else think? What did everybody think of those of his most recent read?
It's
No, hey, none of that. It was well done. I mean, you know, here's the thing, though. I mean, along the accent lines, literally, Frank kind of sounded like he was coming out of Southern California with that. You know, because he wasn't trying to push anything, and it just kind of regionalized him to America, but to that California type of region where he's, you know, it's not a heavy, notable any kind of accent.
I thought when he said transform your life, like a lot of spacing in there. I like your life together, but with life with the accent, like some other people have been reading. Transform your life. But his is like transform your life. I don't know if anybody else heard that.
Yeah, but I actually personally I really liked that choice.
Yeah,
I think that was a really good differentiator.
Yeah,
Personally, if I were directing this piece, and it's just because I know Frank and I hear his voice, I prefer Frank's voice. Frank, no affect, no accent, because for this piece specifically, just because your voice is so powerful, for lack of a better description. I think your voice can convey exactly what this piece needs without any affectation.
Yeah, your voice already has the presence in it. So
I agree with all that, but I
gravitas.
think
That's
one
the word.
thing you're going to have to really watch out for is not sounding announcery, though, because your voice.
That's a valid point, but
a natural
Frank can definitely do that.
It's my voice.
Yeah.
It's a good voice.
Right.
It's an announcer voice. That's
well.
The thing is, I don't know if I ever told you, but I had this happen to me again last week. I was someplace at a restaurant or something like that, and I was talking to someone, and they said, "Boy, you sound like you should be in radio." And I said, well, "Funny enough." and the waitress says to me, "Can you talk to me in your real voice?" And I said, "I am talking to you in my real voice." She says, No, not your radio voice that you're doing when you're out in public. She says, your real voice. And I said, "This is my real voice." She says, "I understand you got to stay in character. That's fine. That's fine." I was making this like this.
Right.
No. You should have played along and just done a little high-pitched, squeaky voice for.
Yeah. I have done that before too, where I go into Mickey Mouse or something. But
one of my favorite things to do.
Boy, this is me.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite things to do is when somebody mentions that I should be on the radio or something like that, and they're like, "Has anybody ever told you should be on the radio?" My favorite response is, "No, nobody's ever mentioned anything." Nobody's ever said that before.
My sister-in-law's boyfriend actually said I should be in radio. It's like, well, I actually have done some radio stuff, so technically I'm there.
so just to wrap up the read real quick, I really liked the direction that you went with this particular read.
Okay.
I'm still a little bit iffy on that last sentence. I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't have a good way of trying to communicate it, so I'm not going to press the issue.
You're fired.
A little extreme, but no, I'm just kidding. Again, like I don't have an exact way to try to direct that to where I would love to hear it. So I'm not going to try. I'm not going to belabor the issue. All in all, though, the choices that you made were great. It felt really natural. It felt like a person just sort of describing their experience with it, in a little bit of it was a little dreamier. It was a little played up, but that's kind of the point. And I feel that read really fit this particular script quite well. I really enjoyed it. So you have that natural strength with your voice, but with playing down or playing into the whole like quiet, almost intimate sounding aspect of that performance really brought it to a different level. It's a kind of read I don't think I've actually heard from you before on the mic check. So that was a really cool experience. All in all, I felt it was great.
Thank you.
So I think this is actually a good time to wrap it up. We're 8 minutes before the hour. So Nathan, handing it back to you.
Well, right here at 8 minutes before the hour. And speaking of radio, I'm going to talk like a radio person now. No, I'm not. Anyway. Okay. Well, this has been an excellent mic check, all about the style of our read. And we've had some really good style coming from everybody tonight. Okay, guys, we have a Patreon page. If you check the lower third down here, right down there, check out that Patreon. Support us on Patreon because we got great things coming up. And if you support us on Patreon, we can make them happen. So that aside, also YouTube guys, subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can know when we got new things on there too. And with that, this has been a great mic check, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.
Later.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Don't forget the bell.
Ding, ding.
Join us every Monday for free script practice. You can also find the mic check on Facebook and Twitter. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe for more.